Having played more of FNAF Security Breach now, I've compiled the list of the moments that made me fear for my life and the life of my pants the most. So, warning. Spoilers ahead. Like, we aren't talking the endings of the game, so don't worry, but we are talking about various moments and paths that you may not have had the ability to see yourself yet, or see your favorite YouTuber encounter in their playthrough. Like me, you should be watching me play it. So with the spoiler warning out of the way, let's do it. And it's Music Man! Well, some of you may be thinking I'm referring to the giant Music Man spider that we see in the trailers, and I'm assuming later on in Security Breach that is not the case. In fact, I'm referring to the normal Music Man animatronic that just appears to chase you when you enter most of the vents in the game, or at least like the longer vents that are meant to be one way, like the one to the security office in El Chips, or the one way down to the maintenance area on the bottom floor, like the two ways that you start to leave the game. But when you first encounter him, the game makes you turn around to see him drop off the ceiling and seemingly come out of nowhere, and then he starts chasing you. And Music Man was already creepy enough just standing behind me, but in this rugged, broken state he's even worse. And then you learn why he's there. In one of the duffel bags that'll reveal additional lore and references, you can find a security report from Vanessa saying that Music Man cases have been broken but without any sign of a break-in, indicating that it was someone with security access, which I'm still sure at this point is her. But the fact that Vanny released them into the vents, it kinda makes it extra creepy. And at 9, have a map. After gaining access to the main atrium of the Pizzaplex, which could happen in like the first 45 minutes if you're not an idiot like me and aren't speedrunning, because then it happens in like the first 5 or something. The bot that offers you a map as soon as you get out is firstly not there originally, and it just appears and then jump scares you, and second can actively somehow pull you out of Freddy in order to give you the map. Like, I get it, it's an important part of the game, but come on. Plus, then after Freddy is taken, okay, another map bot shows up to give you an additional map for the security tunnels. But like, what the hell, man? That one came out of absolutely nowhere. Like, the first time Freddy kinda warns you about it, he's like, oh yeah, you can get a map on the second floor. But this time, it's completely uncalled for, and it's actually terrifying, since it's very similar to the jump scare that causes us all to panic because then the animatronics start spawning behind us after we get caught by a security guard. So yeah, if I could go back and do the new animatronics list, the staff bots would be at number 1, but particularly the map bot. And at 8, parts and service. The parts and service section of this game did give me slight trauma when I first played it because of parts and service when I played FNAF VR on the channel, since it said to remove Bonnie's left eye and I kept grabbing my left, not Bonnie's. But this time it's much easier, but it being easier doesn't mean I can get it first try because I am incompetent. I had to try like 3 times because like the first time I clicked the wires and then it jump scared me. Then I did the wrong pattern because I was too focused on not clicking the wires, but I also have to admit the headless Freddy jump scare is probably one of the coolest ones in this game. Like, it's not scary because he doesn't have a head, but the actual situation is very intense, especially since we just learned that there is no record of us in the security database, which should be impossible, which leads me to believe that someone, Vanny, wiped us out so that we won't be missed, or that we're a robot crying child, but I still haven't finished the game yet, so I don't know. But to me, this was still a very intense moment, and then you gotta do it like 3 more times if you want to upgrade Freddy. And at 7, low power. With Freddy being our animatronic deterrent mech, it's pretty important that he keeps his charge so that when we need him, we can use him. However, one of the most shocking things is when he runs out of power. Earlier in that game, he is about to run out of power, or at least in my memory, he did run out of power, so he ejected us and then gets into a recharge station. This made me believe that if he runs out of power, he would just drop us on the floor. No, he doesn't. Learned that the hard way when I was glitched and stuck inside of him. So I let the power run out in the hopes that he would drop me, and then when he ran out, he just ripped me out of his stomach and killed me. Which makes me think that it's not his power that we're seeing being depleted, it's his integrity level that we watch go down, but oh well. This is certainly shocking if you don't know it's going to happen, like when Eddie VR on his second channel had the shocking wake-up call when looking at the map. He was just looking at the map, Freddy ran low on power, he ran out and then just pulled him out. He didn't get a low power warning because he was in the map. This was also the same video when he told Freddy that he better not betray him, making things oh so much worse. And at 6, Vanny's room. Now, the path I've taken in my first and current playthrough of Security Breach, since they're both the same playthrough, is going to Phaser Blast or Phaser Quest or whatever the laser tag one is, because I wanted to play laser tag. Also, it totally happened and I flipped out. It was amazing. But on laser tag, or I guess like at the end of laser tag, you can find a secret area through a vent that you have to go back through so Music Man isn't there. But the room you end up finding actually has Vanny in it along with her name on the wall, and it also has a secret Princess Quest machine. At least this time, it's Princess Quest 3. If you don't know, Princess Quest is a minigame present in the mobile version of Help Wanted, which is the way Glitch Trap gets incorporated into the mobile port. However, there's no number, it's just like Princess Quest, so it's the first one. Now apparently there's 3 of them, plus, you know, if Vanny saw you, you'd be dead, which just adds to the kind of like scare factor. And what adds to the mystery is that you can find a lore bag in Bonnie Bowl that tells you about a Princess Quest 1 machine hidden somewhere in the building. I'm guessing like the actual Fazcade room. But since Princess Quest 1 and 3 are here, I'm assuming that there's also a Princess Quest 2, which I think reveals not only more lore, but potentially another ending. Since Vanny is sleeping next to one of the machines, it makes it seem kind of important. And the lore is the scariest thing out of everything in this series. Halfway through into number 5, Broken Freddy. Now, as if fixing Freddy wasn't enough, he also has to go through something that makes him need to be fixed, right? Well, yeah, that's how it works. And the first time you see Freddy laying down broken because he couldn't get to parts and service is so depressing and worrying that you might end up losing your animatronic repellent suit of mech armor. Unless you aren't sure if they're going to end up betraying you and end up not getting emotionally attached to Freddy. Wow, I sound like I have trust issues now. Maybe I should go to therapy. But like then again, like therapists are like the English teachers of the brain. They like try to find like hidden meanings in like everything, like the symbolism that like the author intended. Like no, like the reason you want to sleep in a blanket is because you want to be back in your mother's womb kind of analysis, and it's like no, because I need it to be the right temperature, bro. But honestly, after seeing Freddy like that, I maybe really do need therapy, but for that, not for anything else. The actual Broken Freddy moment is very sad, and then having to go out alone and face all these things without your boy is pretty damn terrifying. Especially because at this point, Vanny was introduced and used a couple times before you could actually get back into Freddy. Also, what happens like almost immediately after this is pretty horrifying. In it for trash compactor. Now after figuring out what I needed to do, destroying my main Chica was the first thing I did. I already blew her back out, so I might as well finish the job, right? Well, let me tell you that it was still a very intense scene. Firstly, I thought that you would have to actually like lure her into the trash compactor instead of just pushing a button when she's not close and starting a cutscene. So I was trying to actually like lure her into it after placing the Monty stuff because she wasn't trying to eat it. So I was like stunning her and like having her chase me, and that was terrifying doing that. But then the cutscene that plays when you actually stop being a moron is even scarier, since this is the scene that we had in the trailer where it looks like a giant pillar fell on her, but no, you're actually crushing her in a trash compactor. And you as like a 6-year-old or a 10-year-old or however the old Gregory is, are able to kick off her beak, and then she gets crushed again. But when she gets sucked into the actual like trash chute, she pulls you with her, which is really horrifying, especially for me, someone who's afraid of trash, which is why I don't watch. Yeah, I'm not gonna finish that sentence. That's currently where I ended my last stream, but the day before this goes live, I'm streaming FNAF again on my Twitch, so I guess I'll be past that when this comes out, but oh well. At this point, I don't know what happens after that, but I'm sure it will be even more terrifying. Getting close to the end into number 3, glitches. Now at the time of scripting, I've played around 7 hours of this game. I've been uploading the videos on my personal channel. However, in that 3rd hour, I managed to break the game multiple times, and this was one of the scariest moments of the early game for me. So I'd like to share my experience with you because that was interesting. After finding El Chips, I come out and I call Freddy over. He runs over, but he's stuck on the other side of some barriers. I still don't know how he got there. He teleports behind me, but I'm still unable to get inside him. So I run a couple meters and I call him again, but that's when a second Glamrock Freddy shows up. So I got 2 Freddys. Okay, they're about to double team me, but I can't get in either of them. So I make my way to the vent system at the bottom of the map, and I go out that way instead of going through El Chips. I started getting chased by Music Man, and I slide down the fence, and then I get to the bottom and seemingly nothing loaded. Just a couple of like garage doors. So I get intrigued and start looking around, only for me to fall through the floor and then have the level load above me. So obviously, the next step is to jump out of the map and fall for a few seconds, but then I'm in a room with a whole bunch of colored doors. I thought it was a secret area, but then somehow I'm suddenly back behind the security desk of the daycare again. Yeah, I press the button to get out, the same scripted scene plays where I get kicked out and then all the animatronics are coming to gangbuster me. But this time, at least Freddy's working. So I go back into the vent and get out, but then Music Man starts chasing me again, but another Music Man is ahead of me in the vents from last time. I don't understand, but it was terrifying. Penultimately, in at number 2, Daycare. Now, the Daycare section of the game is certainly an interesting one, because this dude is all kinds of creepy in probably the worst ways as possible. But that whole daycare sequence, in my opinion, is one of the scariest sections of the game, or at least that I've experienced so far. The lights being completely out and the desperate need to turn them back on is surely something that I don't want to relive. Like, it's so creepy, and I don't know how else to describe it. It's absolute pure terror. The fact that this is a children's caretaker that is literally killing me because I'm up past my bedtime is one of the most horrific concepts I think I've seen, like, in practice. Like, who the absolute living hell thought this would be a good idea? And not only that, but also, like, it's like in the first part of the game. This is before you even get to the main atrium of the Pizzaplex. Plus, there's like a flashlight battery upgrade that you can get that I totally missed because it's in like some hidden area at the back, and I'm still mad about that. I don't really use my flashlight anyway, and I recharge it basically every time I can. But this guy is like the next Afton, okay? He's hella creepy, and he legit reminds me of my uncle. And finally, in at number 1, Endos. Now this is some horrifying. The endo section of Security Breach before you can enter parts and service is so goddamn freaky. I don't know how it's possible. I'm glad that like I don't have like a fear of robots, otherwise this would have had me shivering under my desk. Having animatronics chase you is one thing, okay? Having bare endoskeletons chasing you with no casing on them that just move when you don't look at them like FNAF weeping angels is some of the most nightmare-inducing shit I have seen since FNAF 4. And yes, that's a joke because FNAF 4 is all about a nightmare, but still, they only move when you don't look at them. Plus, when you get the security upgrade that you're supposed to get so you can get into the parts and service area, you turn on like 10 additional endos at once who end up chasing you until you can get somewhere safe. Like, you can hide and they will eventually leave, but anyone who's robophobic is going to absolutely despise and loathe this section. I'm only arachnophobic and I still hated that. So, good luck. That's all the time we have for today, friends. I hope you're enjoying Security Breach. I know I'm not. Thank you all so much for watching. I have been, and shall remain Connor Monroe, and I'll see you in another video. Actually, no, the game's pretty good.